In wrapping up, I just want to ask you a little bit about your future and your bucket list. You are a single dad. Do you have any aspirations to get remarried, to have more children?
I don't know about more children. I mean, look, whom and I have a great relationship. She's moved on. I've moved on, but we live very close to one another. Jordan has lived this great life that has known nothing about like tension between divorced parents, doesn't know anything about fights over where he's going to be and what he's going to do. And I feel that that is one of the ways that I make amends to Huma and to Jordan is living that way. I am, you know, I am a red-blooded American man who has, whatever. But I also kind of am very sensitive. I'm in recovery around some of these things around sex and addiction. And so I'm trying to be very intentional about that kind of thing. So that's the first time I've been asked that question. So if it doesn't seem as polished an answer, that's why.
No, it's okay. Do you have any future political aspirations? Do you think you will run for mayor ever again?
Oh, well, Rachel, settle down over there. I mean, I am running a race now that is kind of like being on a high wire with a straitjacket on over a pond of alligators, right? I'm running as a more moderate voice in a very liberal district. I've got scandal in my background, and I've got plenty of people below me who would love for me to fall, to chew me to shreds. The last thing I'm thinking about is anything beyond this. But when I sat down with Huma and Jordan and I talked to them about the idea of trying this again, one of the things Huma said is like, this is what you were born to do. I believe that doing this kind of thing, win or lose, is one of the things my higher power said I should try to do. If it works out, it's in someone else's hands. That's the beauty of politics. The voters are not wrong, even when they vote for people who I disagree with. But the last thing I'm doing at this stage of my career is saying, well, if I get elected to the city council, I love my city. I'm devoted to it. I ran for mayor twice because I thought I would be a great mayor of the city. But part of my service now is doing the most local of service, the most local of conversations. And that's all I'm focusing on right now.
I know you said you haven't seen the documentary, but what was very clear from watching it is that you were born to do this. You are very good at it. And I do hope you get that chance one day.
It's nice of you to say. One of the reasons I haven't watched the documentary is that I lived it, but also I don't have to talk about it with anyone when they say, the documentary, I never saw it. So
right. I get it. I hear you. In wrapping up, just tell people a little bit about your podcast and where they can find it.
So I am on this very conservative radio station in New York called 77 WABC. I talk to, kind of like if you're familiar with wrestling, you need a bad guy, you need a heel. That's what I do. And I kind of enjoy it for that reason. I frankly kind of feel that I find that more nourishing than being the 11th person on MSNBC saying the same things. Right. It's called The Middle. It's every Saturday, but it's available as a podcast. And then I have a podcast that comes out in the middle of the week called The Middle Unplugged. And I also do this show called Left versus Right, which is, as it sounds, Left versus Right. They bring in different Republicans to debate me, and that's also available as a podcast. And I think all of these things nowadays are available on YouTube and TikTok and these different places. And I have a website, anthonyweiner.com, which focuses on my campaign. But frankly,
and it lists out, I think it's called Weiner 25, right? The 25.
I've got 25 ideas for 2025, which is this book of ideas that some of them for your listeners around the country will be like, what is he even talking about? But some of it will be, yeah, I kind of get that. I have a similar thing in my neighborhood. And on there also is a contact thing if anyone wants to reach out to me, whether it be about the campaign or about 12-step work or about anything at all. That's the way people can reach me.
Well, listen, I wish you the best of luck. And I really hope that after listening to this, that people really understand the notion of trying to put aside the noise and all the extra stuff and hear the words that you're saying, because you are so educated. No one knows this stuff better than you, and you need to be back in politics. So I do.
Well, it's nice of you to say, and right back at you. When I was invited to be on the show, I listened to some of your stuff. It's very good. You're very good at this. And I appreciate having the conversation. And you're another example of someone that kind of took the public opportunity that came with a lot of shit to say, look, there is value that I can bring because of this. And I admire that. It's a very high form of courage in today's world, to live shoulders back and chest out and say, listen, this is who I am. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be part of the conversation with you.
I guess the last question I would have for you personally, what do you think you are most misunderstood about?
You already said you asked the last question. So
sorry, I'm doing it again.
I don't know. Again, look, what am I misunderstood about? I am, for many people, I'm a cartoon figure, I guess. And that's what happens in public conversations. People get flattened out. They become like this two-dimensional thing. And I'm someone that has many of the vices that maybe they think. You don't get into politics if you don't want to call attention to yourself to some degree. But I don't know. What I will say is that I'm someone who at age 60 feels like I'm still kind of growing and learning. I still, they have this conception of a higher power. Very often people view it as a religious thing. For me, it is this notion of hearing things that I didn't think of before, whether it be in an interview, whether it be in someone stops me on the street, whether it be in the room of a 12-step meeting, that I didn't think of before, that influenced my life and the way I lived it. That's an enormously powerful thing. And I think only through going through stuff that make you doubt yourself a little bit are you open to those voices. And so sometimes, if I seem like I'm completely sure of myself, it's because maybe what I am is someone who continues to learn new things from people and honors that. And so if people think, well, he's completely stuck in himself or stubborn or the person that believes A, B, or C, maybe what is important about me is that I'm always eager to learn new stuff, and I allow it to influence me more than maybe people think.
Right. What's great about you is you have become so relatable, and you are a lesson for people that don't know how to get up again. And I think that's fantastic. So whether or not you win in this election, I think that you are really helping a lot of people, and that's the point.
It's nice of you to say that's my hope, and I hope this conversation helps that.
Thanks, Anthony.